What's going on, guys? It's Brent with Team Draw Better, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the deck that I posted last week as a profile that I sort of kept a secret, but it's my own spicy deck that I cooked up for next format. And we're going to be going over the combos and some test hands for Yummy Mimighoul. Now, before we begin, like always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! And without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. So, I'm going to be showing you first what you can do with just one Mimighoul dragon. And the reason why I decided to build this deck is just because ever since Yummy came out, like I mentioned in the previous video, I noticed they were level 1s, and I immediately thought Mimighoul because they can easily bridge into both engines, and I'm going to show you that right here. So, we're starting our turn. We're going to normal summon Mimighoul Dragon, activate the effect to search for a Mimighoul spell or trap, and the one that we're going to search is going to be Maker. Now, after that, we're going to activate Maker. We're going to reveal Archfiend, and we'll just reveal Armor. So, it doesn't really matter which one Maker hits, but we will still roll a dice just to keep it realistic. So we'll go odds for Archfiend, evens for Armor, and we rolled a 5, so they'll get the Archfiend, and then we can special Armor to our field. Now, from here, this is where it gets really cool, because we can link away Dragon for Salamangreat Almirage, and then we can immediately Synchro Summon into Cupsy Yummy. It's just that easy. So from here, we would go Cupsy Yummy to search to, and the two we're going to be searching are going to be Cookie and Cupsy, as soon as I can find him. There he is. So we search Cookie and Cupsy off of this, and then we can special the Cupsy. We can use the effect to search a Yummy card, and we're going to grab the last monster, which is going to be Lollipo. And now from here, we can synchro these two to go into Martial Metal Marcher, and on summon we'll use his effect and we'll target the Cupsy in the graveyard to summon it back because it's a tuner. And then from here, we can special either one of the Yummies that are in our hand, so we'll just special Cookie, and then we can go synchro these into Herald of Arclight, and then we can link away this Cupsy to go for Snatchy, and Snatchy effect can place the field spell, which is going to keep allowing us to extend further, so we're going to place Yummy's minion, and then we can use the effect to special back a Yummy because we control link 1. So we'll just special back the Cookie, and then we can immediately synchro again. Go for our Lollipo synchro, and Lollipo effect will summon back 2 from grave. So we can special back the Cookie and the Cupsy. And now from here, again, this is where it gets really cool, because we have multiple ways or multiple routes that we could go from this direction. But usually what I like doing from here, and especially because we have the face down on our opponent's field yet, what I like to do is I like to go overlay these for Giant Mimighoul. It's just that easy to bridge between the two engines. It's really insane. And then we could go Giant Mimighoul effect to search any Mimighoul card, and we would grab Dungeon. And then we just immediately swap the field spells here. So we'd activate Dungeon, and then Dungeon can search. And we will search out, just to have another interaction. This is actually really strong against Vanquish Soul Canine, but we're going to search Mimighoul Fairy. And the reason why I say Mimighoul Fairy is really strong against Vanquish Soul Canine is because Fairy says any monsters summoned from the hand can't activate their effects. Practically all of them summoned from hand. Special summon, I should say. So we'll add Fairy, and then we do still have Lollipo in hand, and the reason why is because if they nib here, we can Herald Negate, but if they have some other way to stop that, then Lollipo in hand is just to have follow-up, because if they were to nib here and clear our board, we would link away the token and go into Link Spider, and then we could just immediately special summon the Lollipo and go into our last Yummy Synchro and be totally fine. Because we also have the field spell Engrave, and the field spell can shuffle itself and 2 others back. So that's why we keep the Lollipo in hand, but we would special the Fairy to their field, and then we would pass here. And this is the only known card is Lollipo in hand, but we're not counting the other cards we could possibly have in hand. So we have Herald, Lollipo to summon 2 back from grave, and then Giant Mimighoul as well. This gets really big because of Mimighoul Dungeon, excuse me. So during your opponent's turn, if they were to say, if they don't care about the flip effects and they flip these over, then if they flip 1, what we can do to preserve the space is we can immediately chain Lollipo. As soon as they flip a Mimighoul and its effect triggers, we can chain Lollipo to summon 2 back. And the 2 we'd summon back are just going to be Snatchy and the... Actually, it's just going to be Snatchy. It'll just be Snatchy. Because then the Fairy would come to our field. And it's also because Cupsy and Cookie are attached to Giant Mimighoul. That's the only downside. If you really need the effects off of these, then there are ways around it, because you can use Giant Mimighoul's effect to pop something on the field to get one of the yummies back into the graveyard. But this is fine because Snatchy is a yummy monster on its own, so you can synchro this way. And then if they get rid of this, we draw a card, and they would discard a card, so we'd still have Lollipo and a random in our hand. And then if they continue, this is the neat part too. Another play that I've discovered that's really cool. So Mimighoul Dungeon's on board. So if they try to keep playing, say they normal summon or something like that, and you don't think they have anything else, you can chain Yummy Snatchy to Synchro. You can use itself and Fairy or Archfiend, it doesn't matter. You can go into Cookie Yummy Way. Now, Cookie's a neat card for this build because Cookie Book of Moons 2, so it puts them back under the dungeon lock. So that's a really neat interaction between both of these archetypes that I'm just really enjoying learning more and more plays with this build, because some of them are really crazy. But yeah, that's essentially it for the combo with just one Mimighoul Dragon. So you can get pretty far into either thing with just one dragon. Like I said, the branching into both sides of the deck is pretty seamless, and like the consistency is really crazy. But to shuffle up the deck a little bit here. We're going to have our opponent cut us, and I'm going to put the extra deck monsters back. And I think I'm going to show a quick test hand just to see what the kind of shenanigans we can get up to. Because some of them are pretty crazy. They are genuinely pretty crazy. I was trying to cook long and hard with this deck because I believe it can be a sleeper build. I don't think anyone's going to expect the Mimighoul stuff. They're going to know what to do with the yummies, but like I can make a board off the yummy stuff and then have face down Mimighouls on their field. So if they try to board break like evenly matched or something like that, they can't because they control a face down. And if that's their priority, I'm just going to put another face down on their board right away. So quick test hand. Let's see. So we got Yummy Surprise, Mimighoul Maker, Mimighoul Dragon, Fuwalos, and Cookie Yummy. So this hand is really insane. I'm not even going to lie. This hand is insane. Because the first thing we would do is we would lead with Maker, check for an Ash Blossom because we genuinely don't care if this gets ashed. We care more so if Dragon gets ashed. Let's just say that it doesn't. So we'd reveal, let's go with the Archfiend per normal and Fairy because it doesn't necessarily matter which one gets picked here. So, I mean, if they get the Fairy, that's fine. Because the one we're going to special off of Maker is going to be Dragon. And then Dragon Effect. We can just immediately search out Room this time. And the reason behind that is because we already used Maker. So we're searching Room. And now, you'll notice we can go either direction here. We can normal summon Archfiend and get an additional body. So we'd have 3 bodies on board. Or we can link away the dragon and immediately go into our yummy stuff. So what I like to do is I like to pivot into the yummies like midway and then pivot back into the Mimighouls towards the end. So I can either grab Dungeon or grab Room. And that's what I'm going to do actually. So I'm going to link away Dragon, and Dragon is going to link for Anima, and then what we can do is we can special Cookie Yummy because we control link 1, and then we'll synchro these, go for Cupsy effect to search 2, we'll grab the other Cupsy. And we had Cookie already, so we'll grab Lollipo. We can special the Cupsy. We can use the effect to search, just to sort of have more resources, and then we can just grab, we can just add the field spell here, to be honest. Because if they imperm the link 1, then we don't have a way to get to it. So, I mean, grabbing it here is sort of safe, because then we can just go for the Marcher play. Marcher will summon back the Synchro Cupsy. And then we can special the Lollipo. Synchro these for Herald, and then link this away for the Snatchy. We don't have to use the Snatchy effect because we already have the field spell, and then the field spell can summon back the Lollipo. Lollipo and Snatchy, we can synchro for the Lollipo synchro, and then we can go effect to summon 2 back. Summon these 2. So at this point right now is where I think I would go into the giant Mimighoul, just because like we have the Omni with Herald, we have interaction with Lollipo, and we do have Surprise in hand, and we do have Room in hand already, and we can special Archfiend to our opponent's field, just to put them under the dungeon lock a little heavier. So I do think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you how to get some of the yummies into grave off of Giant Mimighoul this way, because this is actually a perfect example right here. So we overlay for Giant Mimighoul. We will go effects to search the dungeon. And now we can go effects of Giant Mimighoul. We will detach whichever one you think is going to be more impactful towards your opponent. If you think they're going to be more graveyard reliant, then you're going to be detaching Lollipo. If you just want more draws and interaction, or like a chance to draw another hand trap, then you would detach Cupsy. But in this instance, we're just going to detach Lollipo. We're going to target our own field spell, because Giant Mimighoul can target cards on the field up to the number of face downs that your opponent controls. So we can target our own field spell. So Giant Mimighoul will pop the Yummy field spell, and our opponent will burn for 1,000 damage. And then we can activate Dungeon, and we can search with Dungeon just to have follow-up for next turn. We can search a Dragon. And then before we pass, we're going to effect of Archfiend, special to our opponent's field. We're going to set Room, set Surprise, and then pass. So again, this is not a bad end board whatsoever, especially we have multiple ways to put the dungeon lock back under with Room, and as soon as they activate something, we can tag out with Lollipo to summon back one of the Yummies and Snatchy, and then synchro into the Cookie Yummy synchro and put them back under the dungeon lock again. So again, really crazy consistency in my opinion. I feel like I crafted this deck pretty well, just because like it's so easy to get to both sides of it. Like there's no struggling, like needing two to overlay for like a moon for like the Fiendsmith combos and stuff. Like you can keep your opponent on your toes, because like you can go either way multiple times. There's no real linear path that you can do. But yeah, that's another good end board. So I'm gonna do one more test hand, and then that should be good enough to show you guys the potential that this deck has, because I'm genuinely really hyped to play this next format, just because I've been having a blast testing it. It's really fun, and I think it's really strong because the opponent isn't really going to know what the Mimighoul cards do. So that's another advantage to have, because you know, you're going to be summoning the Yummies, and then all of a sudden you pivot into Mimighouls. They're like, what? Shuffle this back up. What's even crazier is that the Mimighouls, when they're flipped, they do trigger the synchros, and they also trigger the triple tactics cards, like always, which we are playing 3 thrust and a talent. So those cards are going to be very strong. Very, very strong. All right, let's see what we got. So we got Nib, Maker, Room, Fua, and Cookie. So going first, the Fua hurts, but going second, let's say we're going second. We'll use the Fua, and our opponent will give us like 2 draws. Well, now they might give us 4. Because as soon as we get a draw, we're going to chain another Fua. And then if they summon anything from deck or extra deck, again, we get to draw 2. So let's say they have to play through it, and they have to give us 2 draws. So that's a dragon, and that's a called by. Yeah, that's pretty good. Because then after that, if they summon 5 times, we can nib. And then we can draw for turn. It's an Ash. Okay. So then we would go Maker, And the only thing here, if they ash something, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter at all. The only thing that you're worried about is Droll, and we would save the called by for the Droll, if they have it. So we would go Maker. If they have any sort of board, then we would go Dragon, and we would go Archfiend, because we want the Dragon to hit their field. So just to keep it realistic, we're going to roll. We'll go odds, evens again. It is we rolled a 1, so they'll get the Archfiend, and then we can special a Mimighoul from our hand. So we'll just special the Dragon, and then Dragon effect will search. We'll just search Dungeon here, and then if they attempt to Droll after the add, we do have the called by. Let's just say they do, just to get that out of the way. So we want to hold Dungeon until the very end, just because of the fact that we want to put them back under the Dungeon lock and have control of the game state. So what we would do here again is we would link for the Anima, and then we have Cookie in hand, so we can just special Cookie and immediately synchro into the Cupsy. Cupsy will search 2, and we will search the Lollipo and main deck Cupsy. So then we can special this Cupsy, use the effect to search out Surprise. And I'll show you why in a second, because this can also be a pretty cool play. We'll overlay synchro these for Metal Marcher. Metal Marcher, summon back the Cupsy. Then we can link for Snatchy. Snatchy can place the field spell. Place minion. Minion to summon 1 back. So then we can go for Herald. And then what we can do, we can just special the Lollipo. Synchro these for the Lollipo synchro, and then this will special 1 back or 2 back. And we will summon back the Cookie and Lollipo. So from here, what we would do is we have to break our opponent's board a little bit more. So what we would do here, and forgive me, I am still learning plays because I did craft this deck on my own, so there are some things that I'm sure I will mess up on. We are all human, it's part of learning. What we can do, because we did nib them, so it's just the Mimighoul and the token from nib, is we can overlay for Giant Mimighoul, and we can immediately use the effect to search just to have something else as follow-up. We can grab the Archfiend, and this actually works out better because we can go effect of Giant Mimighoul. We'll target the token to pop it, and then they'll burn for 1,000. And then we can go to battle, and we can just swing over, because this is Archfiend, it's going to have 19. We can just swing over that with the nib, and then we could swing for 13, 12, so that's 25. And then we can go to main 2. We can, just because we need to break the board just so they don't have bodies or anything. After that, we can activate Dungeon. Dungeon can search. We'll just add back the Archfiend from grave. And then we can go effect of Archfiend to summon back to their field, to put them back under it. And then we can go effect of the Dragon to summon to their field as well. And then we can set the room and surprise. And then we would pass on that. Because we did break the board, we do have a little more control of the game state now. Just because, like I said, we nibbed during their turn. We were able to get rid of any other monsters and we put them under the dungeon lock. We have Ash in hand, Omni Negate, Monster Reborn 2, and then Giant Mimighoul is really big because of dungeon. Room can Book of Moon and special one to our field. We would special master in this case because we have 2 flips. And then Yummy Surprise is another piece of interaction too. So, yeah. I would say that's pretty good. So, yeah, I think that's honestly going to do it for the video, guys. I showed a decent amount of what the deck can do. And I'm very excited to play it this format, this upcoming format, just because, like, this is an idea I came up with, like, on my own. I meticulously crafted this deck, like, the ratios, what's good, what's bad. And, like, I'm really excited to test it out. Because, yeah. Yummy's crazy. I feel like the Mimighouls are really crazy with these cards, and it should be a really good time. But that is going to do it for the video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this deck. I'm personally in love with it. I'm having so much fun with it, testing out, and I can't wait to see what it does. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Thank you so much. I'll see you.